Greetings. I'm Michael Quinn Patton. Let me ask you some questions. Can you right now put yourself in a state of flow? Would you want to be in a state of flow? Would it be helpful to be in a state of flow? If you do want to be in a state of flow, are you able to accomplish that? Do you have that capacity? Have you developed that capacity? The research on how our brains work and YouTube analytic research suggests that right now you're probably in fast thinking mode, skimming mode, making a quick decision, second by second, whether to hang in on this video. The data from YouTube suggests that most people don't make it past 3 minutes. Many don't make it past 30 seconds. We are short attention span, quick to act, quick to move on, none of which is flow. This video is going to explore the relationship between flow and evaluation, what it means for working with others to be in flow, what it means for a group of stakeholders together to be in flow, for a team to be in flow, for the evaluation to flow. The conceptualization and research on flow comes from the inspiration and insights of Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who defined flow as being completely involved in an activity for its own sake. The ego falls away. Time flies. Every action, movement, and thought follows inevitably from the previous one, like playing jazz. It involves being completely present to the moment, to the activity, to the other people who are present, if there are others engaged in the flow, and that's what we want to examine. This work with Stuart Donaldson and other colleagues at Claremont Graduate University created the field of applied positive psychology, which looks at how our thinking, how our approaches, how our mindsets, how our being present to whatever's going on supports success, both in our goals and in our sense of the experience itself. Stuart Donaldson, who is the director of the Claremont Evaluation Center and the author with Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi and others of several books on positive psychology, have brought into this work understandings about the nature of flow. In this video, we're going to apply those understandings to evaluation and qualitative inquiry. I have had the experience of evaluation flow, of working with intended users in a way that we all were on the same page, moving toward the same important results in sync, in alignment. I've had that experience with colleagues completing an evaluation, analyzing the data, making sense of it, preparing our findings, and having a sense of it all coming together. Intense engagement in field work with teams, being out, listening to people, debriefing in the evenings, and feeling like we were onto something important. These were examples for me of evaluation flow. Both Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi and Albert Einstein had the insight about time being relative. Einstein in the physical world, Csikszentmihalyi, time being relative in the human social world, time being a matter of perception and experience. And so there are 8 characteristics of flow: being completely involved, focused, concentrating, a sense of ecstasy, being outside everyday reality. It feels good to be in flow. Transformation of time, speeding up, slowing down. Hours seem to pass in minutes. The experience is intrinsically rewarding. It feels good intrinsically, not external reinforcement, but the very presence of being present is intrinsically rewarding. Great inner clarity, a sense of knowing what needs to be done and how to do it. The task becomes effortless, even if it's challenging. There's a balance between challenge and skills, that we're going to explore. Actions and awareness become merged, losing self-consciousness in a way that things are integrated. And finally, a sense of serenity beyond the boundaries of ego and worry, yet with a feeling of control over the task at hand. Flow makes it feel manageable, doable, capable of success. Positive psychology. So let's look at those characteristics in terms of evaluation. If being completely involved and focused and concentrated raises the question of how does the program engage participants? How do participants experience program engagement? Flow points us to some inquiry questions about the quality of the experience of participants and staff in a program. How do they experience it? How is time managed in a program? What's the sense of dosage, the sense of engagement, the level of engagement? A third flow characteristic that invites evaluation questions is asking how participants experience the program. Is it intrinsically rewarding? What are they getting out of the program, and how do they understand what they're getting, its source? As evaluation flow builds upon greater inner clarity, knowing what needs to be done for an evaluation, that becomes questions about what do participants learn, their clarity about what they're learning, their task performance and perception. I've interviewed participants in lots and lots of programs who weren't sure what they were supposed to learn, weren't clear about what they were supposed to be taking away or what they were getting, didn't have confidence in what they were supposed to be learning or how they would apply it. If there's a sense of flow in the program, a sense of connection of participants with the program content and process, that ought to give them a sense of clarity about engagement with the staff and the program. In the balance between the challenge and skills, that raises evaluation questions about how staff and participants experience. That is, every program involves some kinds of challenges. Every program involves some kind of use of skills or development of skills. What's the alignment between the capacity needed and the skills that are being developed? How do those align? Flow in the research finds it important to look at the balance between the degree of complexity and difficulty of a challenge and the capacity and skills to meet that. Where those are aligned, you get a higher level of skill. That means that for beginners, the challenge is a beginning challenge and the level of skill is at the beginning level. For advanced participants, the challenge is advanced and the skill level is advanced. When these are out of sync, it interferes with the sense of flow. In qualitative evaluations, there are particular opportunities for flow through participant observation. My favorite and most rewarding evaluations have been those in which I've gone through the program I was evaluating. Leadership programs, capacity building programs, community engagement programs, where I experienced the flow of participation while being an evaluator. There are times in in-depth interviews where in a 2-hour deep engagement with a person, we get in a sense of flow about their life experiences, their reflections, their understandings of how they got from there to here, my responses to what they're saying, that we're in sync, and time passes quickly in those interviews. Site visits. Site visits can be very formalistic, routine, off-putting, stressful, or an experienced site visitor can move into the site and get a sense of what it's like to be there, to be present in the site, to be present in the evaluation and with the staff and with the participants, and having a sense of flow. Field work in general, provides those kinds of opportunities to be out in the real world, not just asking surveys and analyzing response data, but engaging with real people in the real world can give one a sense of flow. I evaluated a leadership education program for higher education administrators based on outward bound programs. And one of the mantras of that program was going with the flow, to be in flow. That became, because we were river rafting, kayaking, mountain climbing, hiking, the sense of being in flow with the wilderness and people in the group being in flow with each other, experiencing the wilderness together, what was called detoxification from ordinary life became one of the constant mantras of explicitly recognizing going with the flow, taking what the wilderness gives you, being a part of, engaged and experienced in it. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi talks about the psychology of optimal experience as being like the mystique of rock climbing. He says, you get to the top of a rock, glad it's over, but really wish it would go on forever. The justification of climbing is climbing, like the justification of poetry is writing. You don't conquer anything except things in yourself. The act of writing justifies poetry. Climbing is the same, recognizing that you are a flow. The purpose of flow is to keep on flowing, not looking for a peak or utopia, but staying in the flow. It is not a moving up, but a continuous flowing. You move up to keep the flow going. There's no possible reason for climbing except the climbing itself. It is a self-communication. The people in that wilderness program, and I evaluated different groups over several years, and other outward bound programs, a part of the attraction and power of wilderness experiences, outward bound experiences, is that sense of flow with nature. And in the challenges of the climate emergency, the disconnect between nature and humanity is part of the difficulty and challenge. And people working on sustainability issues are looking to reconnect humans and nature, not with humans dominating nature, but understanding that humanity has to be a part of the natural world, respect it, be integrated into it, all aspects of the natural world, to have flow with nature. And so evaluation flow includes being completely involved, focused, and concentrating, looking at how time is conceptualized and managed, the experience of being intrinsically rewarding in a program, having a great sense of clarity about what's coming out of the program, what the program is leading to, what the takeaways are, and a balance between challenge and skills, which is where we want to conclude. The alignment and balance between challenge and skill appears to be a particularly important aspect of flow. So we want to examine that, both in terms of evaluation and more generally, the experience of flow. In the model that flow offers, the relationship between the degree of challenge and the degree of skill, skill can be characterized in this model as the extent to which you're apathetic about what's going on, so you don't even try, or you're bored with it because it's too easy, or you're relaxed into it because you're able to know that you're going to do it. You feel like you have control over it. That's a high level of skill. Control, relaxation, low levels of skill give a sense of apathy and boredom in this framework. The challenge level, we begin at the lower level, again with apathy. You don't care about accomplishing anything, or you're worried about accomplishing something. Medium level of challenge. High level of challenge can involve anxiety or arousal. I'm going to meet the challenge. And where flow emerges in this framework is where the challenges of the evaluation and the readiness for evaluation intersect. And that's where we get flow. So that it's a match between, for both the evaluator, their capacity to meet the challenge, for the people in the program and the participants in the evaluation to feel both that they have the skill to engage in evaluation and that they are prepared to face the challenges of the evaluation. The evaluation facilitator's role then is to help stakeholders who are involved in an evaluation nurture the appropriate level of skill to face the evaluation challenges, whether they be process issues, methodological issues, conceptual issues, theoretical issues, that we support the evaluation flow by attending to both the skills and capacities needed for an evaluation that are in line with and synced with the challenges of a particular evaluation, whether it's simple, complicated, or complex, and that the skill levels and challenge levels are in sync. This invites us to think about rigor as flow alignment. Evaluation rigor then is about the balance between the level of skill and the size of the challenge at hand. Evaluation rigor as flow alignment, not just methods employed in some abstract context-free sense, flow, which introduces not just individual flow, but group flow. The evaluation implications of group flow are not only are individuals matched in their alignment between capacity and challenge, but the group together becomes facilitated to experience that they together are asking the same questions, they're converging around important issues, they understand and are on the same page about methods, logic models, theories of change. They're prepared to work together to interpret the data and identify uses for the data. When those things are aligned in a group, you have a sense of evaluation group flow. And you can move from just individual level data in the program to a sense of what the program as a whole is like. Csikszentmihalyi said about the psychology of optimal experience, being in an interdependent group while experiencing flow is more enjoyable than one that is not. Positive psychology emphasizes the importance of engagement, interactions, interdependence with other people. And for evaluation, this is where what we've called the personal and interpersonal factors reside. That it's not just about methods, it's not just about technical expertise, it's not just about the data, but that it's about the experience people have of evaluation. An evaluation flow captures that intensity of successful experience. Csikszentmihalyi said, creating meaning involves bringing order to the contents of the mind by integrating one's actions into a unified flow experience. That's a wonderful way to think about what evaluation can do beyond the usual associations of evaluation as a compliance activity, a paperwork activity, the pain that comes with the money, the strings attached to resources, thinking about evaluation as an opportunity to be creative, creative meeting about what's working and not working and how to improve what's going on and make programs more meaningful and important in the lives of participants. Creating meaning involves bringing order to the contents of the mind by integrating one's actions into a unified flow experience. That captures a sense of evaluation flow. In the new 5th edition of utilization-focused evaluation, then, that new edition that I've done with my daughter Charmaine is about the principles of utilization-focused evaluation that can lead to this sense of flow. And the book I did on facilitating evaluation recognizes the importance of the evaluator not just as a methods and technical expert, but as a facilitation expert who can bring together stakeholders in a utilization-focused evaluation process that they experience as meaningful, as intense, as useful, that gives them a sense of flow. Flowing forward then, in the midst of our global climate crisis, means evaluators connecting together globally to support each other in working towards a more equitable and sustainable world. Can we create global flow? And I leave you with a beautiful and inspiring image of flow in nature. Starlings in a murmuration of flow.